Good evening. I'm Daisy Abreu, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. As the chair of the Arts Council of Greater New Haven, I'm excited to welcome you to our 57th annual meeting. First, I want to acknowledge that the Arts Council's offices are on the native lands of the Wappinger, Paugussett, and Quinnipiac people. This is our second annual meeting in this format, but we think it really works for this kind of event. Whether you're going live with us tonight or watching this on another day while you're doing the dishes, we're excited to reflect on this unprecedented year together. I continue to be in awe of our community of artists, their resiliency, and their creativity in producing and presenting work under the most challenging of circumstances. From Zoom theater and outdoor physically distant concerts to online exhibitions and YouTube film festivals, the Greater New Haven arts community continued to entertain, educate, and innovate. As is our tradition, we are featuring an artist to open and one to close our annual meeting. First, we have Terrence Riggins, and later, Ife Michelle Garden from the Elm City Lit Fest. We decided to feature pre-recorded content that they have already created and provided them with additional compensation for allowing us to share their work. We begin with Terrence Riggins in Unbecoming Tragedy.
Everyone, friends, members, and administrative staff of the Arts Council of Greater New Haven. My name is Terrence Riggins, and I'm a New Haven-based actor and playwright. The Arts Council Committee had invited me to share with you all for your annual meeting an excerpt of a solo theater piece that I am developing entitled Unbecoming Tragedy, A Ritual Journey Toward Destiny. The excerpt that you are about to experience was produced by the Westport Country Playhouses for their new Voices, New Works series curated by Jenny Nelson. Thank you. Unbecoming Tragedy, A Ritual Journey Toward Destiny is a deeply personal story. It is about a man, me, who was Black, who was an actor, who is a drug addict, who's been homeless, who is quite burdened, who after the recent death of his mother, a long period of homelessness and drug addiction, finds himself in prison, and in prison he finds himself in solitary confinement after a fight, and it is there in solitary confinement that he is forced to confront the condition of his life and the burden and the barriers toward his ultimate freedom. And that's it. Thank you. So was that it, officer? Then may I please have some solitude? This is solitary confinement, ain't it? Yeah. No, I don't want a Bible. Bible would be the easy way through this. Yeah. And I guess hanging myself would be easier, but there ain't nothing to hang from except maybe a few raggedy imaginary rainbows, and they can't take my weight. Yeah, because I'm burdened, man. Yeah, I'm real heavy. Yeah, I guess the harder way would, and not the hardest, would be to bust through that wall right there. But I might want to use it as my canvas onto which I paint my self-portrait in feces and blood during my inevitable journey into madness. Because if it was up to the Department of Corrections, I'd leave out of here with a mind as disturbed, a body as broken, and a soul as burdened as the day I was arrested. Yeah. And that would be a tragedy. Thank you. That would be a tragedy. This is a tragedy. I am a tragedy. Yeah, but once I was a boy. Or was I? Maybe I was born a tragedy and then somehow grew into a boy, or never even really a boy at all, but a fledgling tragedy. And there is no place for me except prison or death. Or the theater, where tragedy is highly regarded. All the world is a stage. And you must be my fourth wall, huh? Lights! I am a tragedy. I was born February 22nd, 1965, within 24 hours of the assassination of Malcolm X. I was delivered while the echoing report of the shotgun blast still permeated the atmosphere and of the birth matter that covered my nakedness. I'm certain a few splotches of blood were Malcolm's. I was born in the wake of tragedy. On April 4th, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated while standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel. He was pronounced dead at 7:05 p.m. The next morning in nursery school, during a moment of reflection for Dr. King, I stood in the midst of the circle gathering and in a state of profound grief exclaimed, "There is no promised land!" An event documented by the school administrator in a letter to my mother. At the age of 3, I stood disillusioned in the shadow of tragedy. In 1973, my mother decided that my brother, sister, and my refuge from tragedy might be found in the Black nationalist movement. So she enrolled us in the New Age African School at the corner of Western Avenue and Vernon Boulevard. And there, we were given African names. I became Nkosi. We are Black, we are strong, we are determined. We have come to school today to bear witness to Blackness, truth, and strength. Red is for the blood that has not been lost uselessly. Black is for the familyhood of all African people around the world. Green is for the cultivation of new life. I am a Black and proud warrior dedicated to the liberation of my people. My purpose is to protect African community and its people from all oppressors, and to bring about a mental awareness of Black freedom, Black feeling, and Black thought. One summer evening in 1974, Jomo, our leader, who I only knew as the tall, powerful man with the enormous afro and the fierce look of determined and troubled wisdom, was murdered. Shotguns and machetes blasted and butchered him and his wife, Chakalia, who was teeming with child. Our community fractured with devastation, disillusionment, and grief. So at 9 years old, I discovered there is no refuge from tragedy, even where we cultivate Blackness and celebrate Africa. So without the discipline and the protection of a father, a community, or God, I, under the gaze of my mama, my beautiful overburdened mama, retrospectively speaking, began my inevitable journey toward tragedy. Now, here I am. Happy, sad, smile, frown, laugh, cry, light, dark, white, black, comedy, tragedy. But I'd really prefer standing somewhere in the middle betwixt comedy and tragedy, somewhere between a damn shame and a goddamn pity. Happy, smile, laugh, light, white comedy. Sad, frown, cry, dark, black, tragedy.
I wish we were all together and we could all clap and acknowledge Terrence, but I'll just say to you, Terrence, wherever you are, thanks so much for allowing us to share this piece tonight. It was totally new to me when it was proposed by our staff, by our team, but every time I watch it, it continues to speak and speak to me. And thanks to Daisy for welcoming us together. This is our 57th annual meeting at the Arts Council of Greater New Haven and our second virtual. I'm Daniel Fitzmaurice. My pronouns are he, him, and it's an honor to serve as the Arts Council's executive director tonight. There's so much to say right now about this year and this time, but one thing is really clear. There have been a lot of changes. I know I've changed personally in so many ways. Even though the introvert in me loves being alone and at home, I've learned how to seek meaningful connections that I really need to get balance. My family has mourned the loss of a close friend due to COVID and helped folks in our family working on the front lines in the hospital, and at the same time been grateful for our financial stability and relative health during this time. As a very out of practice classical pianist, I'm revisiting scales and old pieces to keep my creative juices flowing during this time. And though we're not together, I would love to hear in the chat what has changed for you this year. You don't need to send in a paragraph, but maybe an emoji or a few lines. Even if you're not watching live, you know, it'll get caught later. What's different right now than a year ago? What are some positive and negative changes? What's something that you've pivoted to do differently? What's an adjustment you or your family or your friends have experienced this year? Yes, there have not been as many hugs. I had an experience just today at the Arts Council's headquarters when someone just came to the office and I was able to welcome them in and show them around. That has not happened in a really long time. Yep, spending time with our whole family. Definitely keep that rolling and keep that thought in mind as we move through tonight. I'll say for sure a lot has changed at the Arts Council as well, and we've been spending some time reflecting on those changes because they're also lessons. One thing I keep saying again and again is that these pivots might become long-term adaptations. For example, we're deepening and expanding our role here at the Arts Council as a grant maker, particularly for individual artists who so often lack access to funding resources, specifically with the lens for cultural equity and anti-racism. A key element to this work for us has been about sharing power. So for all of our grants this year, we have a team of community members guiding every step of the process, including throwing all the ideas that we thought we wanted out the window and starting from scratch. These groups also have all the decisions about who will and won't receive funds through these programs. Steve Driffin is actually serving on 2 of these teams and has an announcement about 2 of those upcoming grant opportunities.
Hi everybody, my name is Steve Driffin and my pronouns are he and him. I am the Youth and Community Programs Director for CONCAT, and I also have the honor of serving on 2 community advisory groups for the Arts Council. One is the Creative Sector Relief Fund, which is a partnership with the City of New Haven's Department of Arts, Culture, and Tourism. And it is really to address the injustices that have gone on and the impact of the pandemic of COVID-19, and we're looking to just support artists in their craft or even help them with their less life experiences. And the other is with the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven, which is launching the Racial Equity and Creative Healing through the Arts. It's a great honor to be a part of this team. I have been an artist here. I cut my teeth here in New Haven, and I'm so glad to be instrumental in helping and assisting in something that is so needed. So we really appreciate everybody's response to this and all our organizations that have come together for a common cause. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thanks, Steve. It's been so great to work with you and so many others who really know what grant making should be for artists. So to be more specific, the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven's Racial Justice and Creative Healing through the Arts Grant is funded with $300,000 to the end of this calendar year. Both artists and nonprofits can propose a project right now to receive $20,000 for up to 2 years. The Creative Sector Relief Fund is going to this year provide at least 9 Black, Brown, and Indigenous artists with no strings attached $10,000 grants. I'll just repeat, that's a no strings attached $10,000 grant. We're going to be launching a nomination process for that opportunity later this month. And for all the details, as well as a bunch of other grant making resources, just head to our website, newhavenarts.org/grants. And I'm really hopeful that these opportunities will be very helpful. The Relief Fund in particular is a partnership with the City of New Haven, and I just wanted to make a brief shout out to the cultural equity planning process that is underway with Civic Impact Lab as well. We're just thrilled to play a small role in making that happen and excited in the upcoming year to continue this work to talk about and imagine how our community and our creative ecosystem could be more equitable in the coming year. Definitely stay tuned for more details about that. We also are planning very much so for the next Make Music Day, which is on June 21st. This is the 4th year we've helped make this happen in our region, and it feels really, really good to invite you to these safe, outdoor, free performances that are going to be happening all over the community in person for you and your friends and family to experience. The organizers of that, shout out to Brianna, we thought it'd be fun to take a look back at Make Music Day in 2019, which is BC or before COVID, to get a sense for what we're hoping to experience this year as well. September 2019. Like I said, Make Music Day is such a good fit for this time. And there's also still opportunities to sign up as a performer. You do not need to be a professional musician to perform. Anyone can perform at Make Music Day, and to sign up to be a venue. And again, there's so many ways to interpret that. We've had performances in parks, at the top of East Rock Park, on back porches, in storefronts. So think creatively. Definitely check out makemusicnewhaven.org for all the details and the lineup as we get closer to June 21st. Another program that's really important to us is the Youth Arts Journalism Initiative. This has morphed, like a lot of educational programs, into a virtual experience for high school students to jump deep into the world of arts journalism with our arts paper staff, connect with their peers throughout New Haven and Hamden Public Schools, and get paid to publish their own writing projects. And of course, with an added twist of making sure these young folks have what they need and the resources they need to do their best during this difficult time. Here's a quick visit from some of our friends in the Youth Arts Journalism Initiative.
Hi, my name is Markeisha Ricks, and I am the director for the Youth Arts Journalism Initiative program.
Hi, I'm Lucy Gelman. I'm the editor of the arts paper. We started YAGI in April 2018 as a way to give students grassroots, on-the-ground training in arts journalism. Our hope, even during the pandemic, is to give them an experience that will expose them not only to the craft of journalism, but will make them more comfortable expressing themselves, talking to other people, and telling the stories of their community in their own words. After years at both Cooperative Arts and Humanities High School and the New Haven Free Public Library, we have gone virtual since March of 2020.
We've served 16 New Haven public school students between the spring of last year and the spring of this year, all over Zoom. Now, hear from a few of our current YAGI student journalists about why they chose to participate in this program.
So my name is Alma Mendoza. My pronouns are she, hers, and hers. I attend Metropolitan Business Academy. I am currently a junior. The reason why I applied to YAGI was because I was really interested in getting into all about journalism and writing articles. I also enjoy writing articles, and I knew that if I were to join this program, I'd improve that, and that's something I've been wanting to do. Right now, I'm working on 2 articles. The thing that I like the most about this program is that I have Lucy because she is guiding me throughout the whole process, and it makes me feel comfortable in my writing because it makes me believe that I have potential in my future writing. I also really like interviewing people. It gets really nerve-wracking, but I feel at the end of the day I feel confident in what I write because I interview people, I get to know people, I go outside and actually experience what I'm writing about, which I really like doing. And overall, I feel really happy that I joined this program, and I hope to continue.
Hi, my name is Mariah Marcano. I go to Hill Regional Career High School. I am class of 2022. I applied to YAGI because I took a journalism class and I fell in love. I do like journalism, and I just want to explore and learn more about it. Right now I'm working on a piece with T. Montgomery. He has a fashion business and he's building up his empire, and it is very interesting. What I like about the program is the flexibility of my teachers, the people who do the program, and it's really nice and it's very accommodating.
My name is Elsa Hallahan. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a sophomore at Hill House High School in New Haven, and I applied to the YAGI program to better my communication skills with people I don't know and get comfortable talking to local New Haven residents who I share community with, as well as becoming a better writer and taking my ideas, turning it into something quickly and efficiently without getting like stressed out or anxious about the writing itself. I like this program because it allows me to meet new people and just become more confident with both my writing and, you know, my communication skills, and just become more in tune with my community and learn more about New Haven itself.
Should I have said get your tissues? Because that video really cuts deep for me too. Cheers to you all, current and past, or Yaji alums as we call them, and of course to Markeisha and Lucy for keeping this program up and running during this time. If you want to learn more about all of them, as well as you could go to their own blog. It's the yajiactiondigest.blogspot.com. There are a bunch of articles they've already published in the arts paper as well. I just dropped the link in the chat to the one about Tia Montgomery. So definitely check in with them, and they're about to finish up their time. But if you know any high school students in New Haven and Hampton Public Schools, you know, we'll be opening up more sessions of Yaji very soon, hopefully in person. Before I hand things back over to Daisy, I have a bunch of exciting news updates to share about the 41st Annual Arts Awards. Each year, the Arts Council team selects a theme and a jury of community members to read the nominations that you and other members of the community submit and select the 5 recipients. This year, we were able to invite a few of our friends from the community jury to announce the theme and get you excited about submitting nominations.
I'm State Senator Mary Doherty Abrams. I'm honored to be on the jury for the 41st Annual Arts Awards by the Arts Council of Greater New Haven.
Greetings, I am Miss Hanan Hamid. Our theme this year is Baby, I'm a Star, and we are celebrating our teachers, mentors, and education advocates who are essential to our community, especially this past year.
Hi, I'm Eric, the director at East Street Arts. We want to read as many nominations as possible, so please head on over to newhavenarts.org/arts awards and submit 1 or 2 nominations. Also, please help us spread the word and make sure to submit those nominations by July 29th. Thank you.
Yes, Baby, I'm a Star. This is actually a theme that we have been talking about for a number of years. And it really made sense that this year was the year to celebrate our arts instructors, classroom teachers, community mentors, education advocates, parents. They really deserve a night to shine after this year of virtual and hybrid learning. There are a few other changes planned for this year, as ever. One of them is that we're very, very hopeful about having an in-person gathering now in November. So we've had the Arts Awards in December for any number of years, but we're moving it up a little bit earlier in the year to November 5th. And we were really hopeful about being in an educational space to celebrate our teachers this year. So we're partnering with the Lyman Center for the Performing Arts at Southern Connecticut State University. And it's going to be at night. It's going to be at 7 p.m. I think this is a great opportunity to be in a space where students and educators in our region, they really know well. It allows all kinds of space for distancing. We're even able to shake up the format a little bit. So we're actually going to be creating a brand new documentary film about the recipients this year, which will premiere at the Lyman Center that night. We're going to have both family activities in the atrium for so you could bring your little ones, as well as a 21+ after party in the Black Box Theater. So definitely mark your calendars and plan to bring everybody in your house, all of your friends and family, to celebrate our creative community this year. And as always, we have an amazing creative team coming together to make it all happen. Luke and Misty at Lotta Studios doing the portraits, Daniel Pizarro for graphic design, and Kyle Kierson making the awards sculptures themselves. And just to reiterate, the community nominations are actually open right now. And I'm totally comfortable with you multitasking if you want to pop on over and send in some nominations for people who are influential educators, mentors, and teachers in your life. In addition to those nominees and awardees nominated by the community, the Board of Directors at the Arts Council selects the recipient of the C. Newton Skank III Award for Lifetime Achievement in and Contribution to the Arts. Newt was a longtime visionary leader at the Arts Council and in our community more broadly. I often share this quote from our former mayor, John DeStefano in New Haven, who said that Newt's biggest contribution was not a particular project, but the model of connection between one's private and public life. Here is our board member and longtime Arts Awards sponsor, Rachel Mealy from Met Interactive, to announce the lifetime recipients this year.
Hello and welcome to the Arts Council's annual meeting. I am Rachel Mealy. I'm a member of the board here at the Arts Council. I'm also the president of Metropolitan Interactive. Met Interactive has been a proud sponsor of the Arts Awards for many years now, and we are thrilled to be sponsoring it again in 2021. Every year, the Arts Council carefully selects a recipient for the C. Newton Skank II Award for Lifetime Achievement in and Contribution to the Arts. Newt was a long-time chair of the Arts Council board and champion for New Haven, amongst so many other amazing accomplishments. And this year, with the theme Baby I'm a Star, celebrating teachers and mentors and educators who are advocating for students and are essential to our community, especially in this past year, it was clear that we wanted to celebrate the dynamic duo of Sally Hill and Bill Brown as our reward recipients. Bill and Sally are longtime leaders of Eli Whitney Museum and Workshop. So many children and adults, for that matter, have benefited from their work, including me and my 3 children and my husband. It's really thanks to Bill and Sally that so many of us appreciate the importance of experimenting and tinkering, learning from new challenges. So Bill and Sally, from all of us here at Metropolitan Interactive, congrats on this important recognition, and thank you for all that you do and have done and continue to do to support our great community. Thank you.
Yes, and congratulations to Sally and Bill. They know they've received the award and they're humbly accepting it. So please, if you see them, send them a note of thanks or send them some love. And again, thank you as well to Rachel and Met Interactive for sponsoring the Arts Awards this year. We're also excited to already have sponsorship in from the Community Foundation for Greater New Haven, Edge Hill Realtors, Southern Connecticut State University, and Odyssey Associates. It's really early in award season, so you could definitely reach out to our development director, Megan Manton, for all the details if you want to get involved in that way. Oh, and as a reminder, I cannot remind you enough, go to the Arts Awards website, send in your nominations as soon as you possibly can. To reemphasize as well, it's not about the quantity of the nominations, but the quality of the nominations. And I know the jury would really appreciate having a wide and deep bench of nominees this year. Hello, Daisy. Oh, can you just unmute yourself? It's classic.
Classic. It's only been 15 months.
It is okay. It definitely happens.
Thank you, Dan. Please, folks, send in your nominations for the Arts Awards. We'll have tickets available some way, or there will be a way to sign up. I'm looking forward to seeing lots of you in a public space and saying hello and hugging and celebrating this year's Arts Awards winners. So Dan is about to drop a link to the minutes from the last 2 annual meetings into the chat. Thank you, Dan. So one piece of business that we need to get out of the way during our annual meeting is to approve those minutes. So, and they are very concise and brief. So as you have time, go through and drop something, drop an emoji, drop a yay, drop a thumbs up in the chat to let us know that we have an approval via group vote, I think is how that will all work. So one of the other reasons that we host this annual meeting, an important reason, is to celebrate the people working behind the scenes at the Arts Council. This, of course, includes our staff. So first I want to give a shout out to Megan Manton, our development director. Megan recently celebrated her 5th anniversary with us. So Megan, thank you for all that you've done for the Arts Council in the last 5 years. And here's to many, many more. We are so grateful for you and for your work. I also want to make a big note of celebration for Artie Pineda, who was hired as a staff reporter for the arts paper just as the pandemic started. They are now headed off to a new position with the Carolina Public Press in Charlotte, North Carolina. Congratulations, Artie. We are thrilled for you. We will miss you. Please come back and see us. There are also various committees that we organized this year. You've already met members of the Arts Awards jury and Steve Driffin from our grant-making advisory teams. There's also a fantastic team of artists supporting our new creative incubator space, the Sandbox. And there's a crew of residents from throughout our region helping with our Create the Vote campaign this year. We're always looking for people to join our standing committees for marketing and governance. So please contact our membership director, Stacy Graham Hunt, if you're interested in joining any of these groups or getting more involved with us in any way. We love members of our community joining us and helping us and being part of the team. So as chair of the board of directors, this mighty team has a special place in my heart. I'm coming to the end of my 2-year term as board chair. So I especially want to thank Rachel Mealy, who is stepping down from the Arts Council board, but I know will continue to be engaged with us and support us in a multitude of ways. Rachel, thank you so much for your years of service, your enthusiasm, and your dedication to the organization. We are so grateful to you for everything that you have done. So now I'm going to move on to the slate. We have some folks starting a new 2-year term. I'm beginning my new 2-year term this year. I believe it is my final term at the Arts Council, but I will continue to be involved. Daniel can't get rid of me that easily. We are also nominating Elaine Carroll, the Chief Executive Officer of the New Haven Symphony Orchestra, Lynn Chamberlain, the founder of Strategic Communications for Institutional Leadership, and Greg Marizita, a partner at Markham Accountants and Advisors. Those three folks and myself are up to start new 2-year terms this year. And then we have 2 new board members joining us for their first terms. Nico Whedon is the founder and principal of the Building Fund Production Management Company, and Kate Hagman, who is counsel at Wigan and Data. And we will have a new chair, and our new chair is Babs Rawls-Ivy. She is the editor-in-chief of the Inner City News. She is the host of Love Babs Love Talk radio show, which you can listen to on the New Haven Independent's website. She is an arts connoisseur about town, and she is a force of nature. So if it's appropriate now, Daniel, and you can let me know, I'd like to ask for a vote to approve the 2021-22 Board of Directors as presented. Please, again, use the text box in whatever platform you are joining us from to offer a yay, a thumbs up, or another sign of your vote. I want to thank the team personally for their support of me, the staff, the volunteers, and my fellow board members for being so supportive in these last 2 years in my service as chair. I look forward to these next 2 years working with Babs. And that's all from me now. I guess, Dan, if you have a video?
I do, and it's a somewhat of a surprise video. So let's cue to a little bit of a celebration to you, Daisy, and a word from our incoming chair, Babs.
So I have a Jeopardy question for you. In the 57 years of the Arts Council Board, who was the first person of color to chair the board? Who was the first woman of color to chair the board? Hey, Daisy Abreu. Daisy Abreu is history living in the now. Daisy Abreu was the first woman of color, person of color for the Arts Council chair. And I'm so delighted to follow in her footsteps. Welcome to the 57th Annual Arts Council Board meeting. I'm delighted to be the next chair taking over from my dear friend, Daisy. I've learned so much from her quiet, powerful manner, and the way that she shepherded us all through this daggone pandemic. I'm looking forward to the next year. We've got so much to do. With Dan Fitzmaurice as our fearless executive director and a staff better than any I've ever seen anywhere in this town, we are looking forward to doing some more amazing things at the Arts Council. So I appreciate this opportunity to speak to y'all and let y'all know there's a new sheriff in town. I look forward to sitting in the big chair. Whee! So enjoy the rest of this meeting, and thank y'all for your vote of confidence to my fellow board members. And I'll see y'all at some arts event. Get out there and take it all in. Art's what's happening, baby. Art's what's happening.
Art's what's happening, Daisy.
Arts is what's happening.
Well, I hasten to follow Babs, but also Daisy, thank you for the support you've given me and all of us at the Arts Council over these years. And, we're not letting you go. So you have 2 more years to be with us and then many, many more to come. So,
yes. Well, thank you. I was not, I'm glad that I didn't watch that earlier.
Well, and, we're wrapping up this annual meeting. No one wants to be on a virtual thing for very long. And that just means we've just scratched the surface of what we've been up to this year. I'm looking forward to seeing you all in person at our newly renovated headquarters. So I could show you Bitsy's living room. I can show you the sandbox and the amazing work that the artists involved in that project have been putting into it. Of course, you're going to keep getting lots of advocacy alerts from us as we move through the last week of this legislative session and as we organize Create the Vote for the local elections in all of our cities and towns this year. But I guess the only way I can underscore this is you should just join the Arts Council and help us reach more people through membership. Daisy, you came through the time when membership went from being paid to being free. So I just want to remind people of that. I'm sure lots of folks here are already members, so I'm preaching to the choir. But something you could do is just share that link with other folks in your network and let them know that joining helps us reach out to them and helps us deepen and widen our reach in the community. It's also, part of this is also means all of our programs and services are free. So we're super grateful to anyone who gives us a gift of any size to make that possible. Part of our commitment to that is we launched a monthly giving initiative this year. There are 2 monthly givers on this screen right now. I don't know about you, Daisy, but for my family, it's much easier to invest in the Arts Council a little bit every month.
Yep, one and done, set it and forget it.
Yes, and now everybody who gives monthly also joins our fan club, which is new. You get an amazing bag, you get a newsletter every month, and eventually we'll be inviting you to some, oh, there's your bag right there in the background, Daisy. Eventually we'll be able to invite you to some amazing events just for our fan club members. But I couldn't resist sharing, because we're here on video, We partnered with Daniel Pizarro, who is an incredible graphic designer and artist in our community, to create these campaign videos. And I just wanted to share one with you now so that you can sort of think about giving to the Arts Council this year and what impact we're having. Thanks, Daniel. And once again, you could get all that information at newhavenarts.org/donate. Daisy, you had the pleasure of welcoming Terrence to the top of the show. And once again, we're going to close out with an artist. And once again, we invited Ife Michelle Gardine and her team at the Elm City Lit Fest not to make a brand new video, but to help us curate some content they've already recorded this year during the pandemic. Artists have been at work. And so it was a pleasure to work with them on this and to compensate them for the incredible work that they've put forward at the virtual Lit Fest 2020. And I hope it gets you excited for Lit Fest 2021, which is this September 11th to 12th.
Greetings. I'm Ife Michelle Gardine, founder of the Elm City Lit Fest. The Elm City Lit Fest is a celebration of literature, literary arts, and literary artists of the African diaspora. Over 2 years ago, when the idea for the Elm City Lit Fest was conceived, the Arts Council of Greater New Haven was the first organization I met with as a resource to assist with bringing the project to fruition. On behalf of the Elm City Lit Fest team, I want to express sincere gratitude to the Arts Council for their fiscal sponsorship, which has allowed us access to the funding sources necessary for our continued growth. I recommend anyone out there who has an idea for a project or program to meet with Daniel and the supportive staff at the Arts Council of Greater New Haven, as they are true to the mission to advance Greater New Haven by providing leadership and support to our diverse arts community, to envision a thriving arts community at the heart of Greater New Haven, standing in the belief that art, culture, and creativity are a fundamental human right. I encourage everyone to support the Arts Council of Greater New Haven to sustain the wonderful work that they do for another 57 years and beyond. Welcome everyone to the inaugural Elm City Lit Fest, and we have been lit today. I am Ife Michelle Gardine. I'm the founder of Elm City Lit Fest, part of a three-sister team of Charmaine McAllister, Emily Mayo, and myself. And we are so delighted to have you here today for our segment called CT's Lit. We're going to showcase some fabulous poets from all over the state of CT. Dime is a queer Black New Haven-based organizer, artist emerging into a career as an administrator, curator, and founder. A poet, visual artist, and producer of experimental music, Dime intentionally grounds their work in their well-being and re-education of marginalized groups centering on BIPOC and LGBTQ spectrum.
Thank you, Dime. Take it away, babe.
Thank you. So I'm gonna flow through this first with some poetry, and then I got some fun stuff to show y'all, and I'm gonna also read some things from my sketchbook. But first, I wanted to start off saying, yes, I am a non-binary artist living in New Haven. I use they, them pronouns, and so I want to start off with a poem kind of about my perspective as a non-binary person. This poem is called Sway. It is inspired by a poem by the same title written by Ebony Stewart, which you can find in the book Black Girl Magic poetry book. Dear Ebony Stewart, the first line is Dear Black Girl, but you wrote the rest of the poem in second person. I'm not girl. I don't sway. I am the wind, the invisible force of nature that make the very definition of girl sway. The same way smoke dances in chambers, I am the silent music, the lick of 7 breaths ago, West African hymns that make a truce with the Atlantic. Now, each ripple reaching for the next, passing a prayer onto they, them, their verses. Sea ball from breath to wind, to wind, to wind. Sea ball in a hurricane make everything sway that lie naked in bed with me. I should also explain synesthesia is when your senses kind of get mixed up. And so I feel like my synesthesia, which is where I can see music or hear certain things, visual things, I feel like it contributes a lot to my journey as an artist. I find myself wanting to like integrate different senses into each other. So my poetry, I don't like to just keep it on the page. I like to bring it like into the real world per se. So this is something I doodled, but I really love going out into the real world and just plastering my poetry all over objects. This is, I like kicked over a trash can and I sketched out the silhouette of what everything looked like after I kicked it and threw some poetry on top of those things. And if you take the bus or visit the skate park, you might have seen my poetry on the cement as well.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the 2020 Elm City Lit Fest. Thank you so much for joining us this morning as we dive into children's literature. Thank you to Baobab Tree Studios for hosting this morning. Thank you to Travis Higgins for our wonderful intro music. This morning we are starting off with Sharika K. Ford, the author of Grandma's Little King Plays T-Ball. We have Mahogany Lowry, author of Greatness Over the Rainbow. And we have Abdul Razak Zachariah, the author of The Night Is Yours. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much all for being here. How's everybody doing? Good. That's good.
Good.
All right, we're going to do our intros. Mahogany, do you want to start us off? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name's Mahogany, but my middle name is Sky. I was born and raised in New Haven. I currently work at Brenda Rogers School in New Haven. I work in a self-contained classroom with autistic students. And I'm getting certified to become a teacher through Relay. And I'm married and I have 2 kids. So I want to share the last page with the kids. So this is Miss Henry, a Black female teacher. You don't see a lot of, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, you don't see a lot of African-American teachers in the classroom with a group of just the students. So I know that's very strong and needed in the around the United States, just around the country as well. Just a lot more representation for the kids to see like, oh, I have an African-American teacher. I have like a minority teacher, and I know I can be a teacher or become a doctor, become a lawyer because she's pours so much into me, pours so much greatness into me, pours so much words, encouragement, and support and motivation into me. So I'm going to read this last part in the book Class, before I dismiss everyone, I would like to say something, say Miss Henry. All you have a purpose. You're here for a reason. You're talented. You are beautiful. You are handsome. You are bright. You are smart. Every time you see a rainbow in the sky, smile. You are as bright as that rainbow. You are full of color and you will always be full of life. Challenges will come, but you can overcome them. You are loved and you have support. Class is dismissed, say Miss Henry.
Now, what did you want kids to take away from that when they read that last page?
It's just like the motivation quotes, because I'm like a very like a quotey person. I might see my friends' quotes, and just so like I know, like I might not know what they're going through, or I might do know what they're going through. So just send them encouraging quotes like early that morning, or the kids might just like read a book and they just like feel more motivated, and they'll like, all right, I know I can just, I know I could do this. I know like everyone facing problems. I know like I have this problem in front of me, but like I cannot let it like just put me down, make me feel down, make me just want to like not do nothing. Like you can't be stuck in it.
Right. Giving them strategies to kind of overcome that.
Yeah, because like in the story, it's like Miss Henry said to Greg, like, I know you lost 2 people. I know it's rough at home. You can like start writing in your journal. So that can also help with like your mental health. Cause a lot of people don't talk about mental health in like in the city.
Right.
In the city community.
Right. And a lot of books don't kind of really give you what's going on in the inner city and what children are losing folks.
And like,
no, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, sorry. And they could definitely like, a lot of people like would tell kids like, yeah, the person who died went to heaven, and like you could like they will always be with you in spirit. But like a lot of kids might understand that, but like if you actually talk to kids, like they will understand like they died, they did like because of X, Y, and Z. They might even actually witness death. So just actually talking to the kids, like let them express themselves through drawing, maybe even crying, because crying is a part of healing, and just writing it down as well.
And these early steps of how to deal with your emotions for them. Journaling is great that you said, and you're doing a lot of affirming on that last page and probably throughout the book as well, and pouring into them, because children experience it just as we are sometimes in the inner cities or in the neighborhood. They're in it with us. And as it's affecting us and it's heavy on us, it's just as heavy on them. They have a stake in it as well. And they deserve the honest truth.
Yeah.
Again, thank you and good night.
Go Lit Fest. Thanks so much for letting us share that.
Thank you, Ife. Thank you, LitFest. That's it for us tonight. So I want to thank everyone who joined us for the 57th annual meeting of the Arts Council of Greater New Haven. We hope to see you all at Make Music Day in June, at the polls, and at the Arts Awards in November, and at arts events all around the region in between. Make art, love your local artists, support your local artists. Thank you all for everything that you do to support the Arts Council, and thank you to my family of Arts Council folks, the staff and the board and our volunteers for everything you do every day to support the arts in Greater New Haven. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, y'all. Good night.